In this lesson, we're looking at applications of percents. So word problems or some sort of problem where you need to find the percent of a number or where you're calculating what number a percent is of another number. So the first type we're going to look at is when you need to find a percent of a number. And the process is to multiply the number by the decimal value of the percent. So for example, 50% of 212 will be 0.50, the decimal value of that percent, times 212. And if we do that, we will end up with 106. For these types of questions, you feel free to use a calculator. 12% of 60 will be 0.12 times 60, which will give us 7.2. So here's a couple to try on your own, and then press play and see if your answers match. So for A, we're going 0.65 times 180 and getting 117. And for B, remember for 7% we have to go 0.07 times 342, and that will give us 23.94. Okay, and here's another example. After eating out, you wish to leave a tip. So the total bill came to $36.50. How much will an 18% tip come to? So if you are going to do this with cash rather than a credit card where the machine does the calculation for you, turn your percent into a decimal and multiply by the value, so $36.50, and that comes to $6.57. So the tip is $6.57. Another example would be a percent discount. So we have a shirt normally costing $78.99. It's on a rack marked 20% off. How much will you pay? So there's two ways to do that. You could calculate what 20% of the original cost is and then subtract it from the original cost. But you can save yourself one step with this type of question by thinking about it this way. If I'm taking 20% off, what percent am I paying? I'm actually paying 80% then, because the amount off plus the amount you're paying is 100% of the total. So you're paying 80%, so you're going to actually calculate 80% of $78.99. So multiply by the decimal value and you get $63.19 is the new price. Okay, and when there's several ways to check your answer, and one would be just using estimation, and often estimation is what we would use in a store anyways to calculate what, to give an estimation of what the shirt would cost. So if we're talking about a 20% discount, if you look at the original price is approximately $80. A 20% discount is 10% discount twice. 10% of a number is 1/10 of it, so we could subtract $8, which is 10%, giving us 72, and then we could subtract $8 again to get to the 20% and get 64. So that would be an estimate of the price. Here's the actual calculation of the new price. The second type of question is this one, when you're asked to find a percent when you know out of. Okay, and when that's the case, you divide to get a decimal value and then multiply that number by 100 to convert it to a percent. So here are a couple of examples. In the first one, on a survey, 7 out of 12 dentists recommended whiteout toothpaste. What percent of dentists recommended it? So when you see that 7 out of 12, you can turn that into a dividing question. So 7 out of 12 is also like 7/12 of the dentists. So you can do 7 divided by 12. You're going to want to use a calculator for this one, which will give you 0.583 repeating. And if we're going to multiply that by 100 to turn it into a decimal and do some rounding, we get approximately 58% of the dentists. So here's one for you to try. In a class of 26 students, 21 of them had their driver's licenses. What percent of students have their license? So this one doesn't actually have the words out of, so you have to understand that that's what's being asked. 21 out of the 26 students. So we have 21 out of the 26. Oops. Equals, we'll use our calculator and we'll get 0.8076 approximately. And when multiplying by 100, we'll convert that to approximately 81% of the students. And that is the end of this lesson.